Welcome back. You're watching NDTV Profit. Wonderla came out with their first quarter earnings. Wonderla runs amusement parks, and that stock is higher by about 0.5% or so. Let's take it through the earnings. Income came in at 67 crore rupees. Profit after tax came in at 28 crore rupees. To talk to us about the earnings, we're joined by Mr. Arun Chittilappilly. He's managing director at Wonderla. He's joining us from Bangalore. Mr. Chittilappilly, thank you so much for speaking with us at NDTV Profit. Your amusement parks business has done well. So can you tell us what was the increase in footfalls that you saw in the first quarter?
Actually, for our first quarter, we didn't have any increase in our footfalls. In fact, we had a slight decline in our footfalls. But we were kind of expecting it because a couple of reasons. One is we had a very high growth in our footfalls in our first quarter last year, and then on top of that we had a impact of service tax which came in this year. So we were not really expecting a much increase in our footfalls, and so I think we were prepared for that. What helped us, I think, is we were able to contain our costs very well for our first quarter. So our costs only went up by about 7%, which is very good for us. So that has helped us to improve our revenues. And also,
the first quarter the strongest quarter for you? They have summer vacations.
Yes.
How come footfalls fell this time, even if the base was high?
Yeah, the base was very high actually. If you look at our last year first quarter, I think our footfalls grew by almost 20% in our first quarter. So that's a very high growth for footfalls, which is not sustainable every year. So we were not really expecting that on top of that a growth this year. And like I said, on top of that, we had the service tax impact as well. So our prices actually effectively went up by almost 25%. If you look at our pricing, we increased our pricing in April by about 12%, and then in June we had again a further increase in prices because of service tax by another 14%. So if you look at it, that's a pretty high end cost to the customer. So because of that, we were not expecting any growth. Another reason for our drop in footfall is I think we had a pretty heavy rains in Bangalore during April, and we had a couple of bunds and hartals, and so those are all lost footfalls. We can't, we don't usually get those back, and that's our experience. So these are some of the reasons. But having said that, we are pretty happy with the way it turned out. I think we are quite happy with the result finally.
Right. Mr. Chittilappilly, talking about your footfalls, we understand that in the fourth quarter on a sequential basis, this disappointment in terms of footfalls has been continuing. We were expecting it to start looking slightly better now. You've revised the price upwards twice in this particular quarter. So will you be now looking to probably change your strategy to increase the footfall somehow, focusing more on, resort probably? What's going to be the business strategy now going forward?
I think this year will be an aberration because of this double hike in prices, but we are not thinking of changing or correcting the prices because after the first quarter the results have been, it's not looking so bad, so I don't think we need to correct prices. Even if we continue at our current rate, I think we should be able to post a between 15 and 20% growth in our top line for this year. And that seems reasonable for us, and our profits are growing more than that. So I don't think we need correction in terms of any strategy. Next year onwards, we are expecting footfalls because we would have already completed 1 year of service tax and all that. So we hope that will help us. Meanwhile, there are also the Association of Amusement Parks are also challenging this service tax order in the court. So there is a lot of developments happening there. So there's this year is going to be slightly uncertain. But what I can say is that we are still confident of achieving a 15 to 20% growth in our top line this year, and we maintain that.
Okay, what kind of revenue did you see from the resort space in particular, and what's the outlook on that front?
The resort contributes about 8% of our top line, so that's 8% of our top line that we have reported. So that will remain constant for this year. We are seeing an occupancy of roughly 50%, which is what we saw last year as well. So we are not seeing any growth in the resort segment, but we hope that as the year goes by, we will see an increase in our resort occupancy as well. But having said that, resort occupancy also depends in a way on footfalls of amusement parks, because that's it's an allied business for us. We don't have any standalone hotels. All our resorts are, the resort we have in Bangalore is part of the amusement park. So we hope that it will continue. I mean, it's profitable right now, so we are hoping that it will continue to grow. We are projecting 10 to 12% increase in our revenues from the resorts for this year as well.
Right. Can you tell us why has there been an increase in other income and your finance costs have come down? How did you manage this?
We don't have, I think we've early paid some of our loans, and so our finance costs have come down. Other income is mostly income generated from investments of our IPO proceeds. That will continue for another maybe 2 quarters, and then that will not, that particular other income will not be reflected in that will vanish. But next year onwards, our third amusement park project in Hyderabad will start drawing revenues. So we expect Hyderabad to be operational by April or May 2016. So you can see an impact of that next year onwards.
Right. What are your plans for the Chennai property? Have you identified a place? When will you see progress there?
We have already identified something, and we are in the process of acquiring a property in Chennai, and we will make an announcement when that is complete. We hope to start work on that particular project next financial year once Hyderabad is operational. So that's going on track. There are no delays. So we should be able to open this project by September 2018. That's the plan.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chittilappilly, for speaking with us at NDTV Profit, giving us more details of the earnings posted by Wonderla Holidays. So Wonderla saying they're not really expecting a big jump in footfalls this year. Next year, they're being more hopeful. We'll slip into a break. We'll come back with our market action and earnings. Stay with us.